everyone, welcome again to the Overwatch League APAC knockouts for the summer stage. We're here, sort of here, at the WDG Esports studio.
I'm here.
And we have the two most annoying people to be bringing you. Oh my god, we got our whites on, man. We're looking fancy for today's first match.
It's actually like a light pink, but it just kind of washed out in the camera. It is what it is. But yeah, we're getting serious now. It's knockouts time. We're starting things, on the deep end in terms of the two brackets again. This is for playoffs qualification. Only one team from each group is going to make it in, and then the rest of the Overwatch League teams that don't make it end up going to a play-in. So NA still got a couple of weeks left of the regular season. We're done with the regular season. This is it. We're essentially, is this the postseason now? It kind of is, right?
It's like the end of the road. It's close to the finish line. We're getting to the peak.
This is the last thing before playoffs. This is the last thing we do before playoffs and play-ins.
Making me sad, and we just started the day. This is the average.
We just started the year. 2023 just started, and we're already here. How wild is that?
We're still here, and that's what matters. And on a whole different patch too. We'll be starting off with Group A: Poker Face, Panthera, Rhodes, Dreamers, and then Group B has Guangzhou Charge 02 versus SPG Shanghai Dragons. But a lot has changed since the qualifiers, man. We got a new hero and everything.
I mean, that's why we needed a 2-week break. They got to implement the new patch in there. All the pros have to get, the hours in for the PV. Make sure they all beat that on Legendary. I'm just sure they did. And obviously get a lot of practice in for the new patch. It's not just one new patch for them. It's, a pretty major patch for everyone on the live server in terms of if you've been playing the game live. But, the Overwatch League patch has been fairly... What would be the right word here? Like, we've been in the past for a while. And we're now finally caught up to the live patch, so it's been several patches as far as the Overwatch League is concerned, even though it's been just the one major patch for everybody else, but it's enough patches that the game is considerably different to what we remember. And here is our current pathway from, the start of the summer stage to some qualifications in terms of the contenders teams coming in as well. So we landed in with our extra contenders teams for the summer stage. We've seen all of them play. Everyone's still here in the knockouts here. We're joined in by 2 more contenders teams that came through a qualifier. And after the knockouts, you can see that there's going to be a play-ins portion as well. And obviously, after qualifying everybody in from both North America and also the Eastern Division APAC here, why don't get to the grand finals? We're going straight to Toronto.
Oh, yeah. SPG and Rhodes will be joining us from the East Opens, and the rest of qualifiers determine the seeding and whatnot. And the patch, a lot has changed. Do we care about going into the numbers? Nah, but guess what? Your favorite garden gnome all the way on the right, Torbjorn, has been seen a lot in the scrims. Of course, every region has always done their own thing, so we'll find out today what APAC's interpretation is at the end of the day. But from our scrims that we've watched, Avril, it's been a lot of Torb, Soldier, but on the tank situation, a lot of Orisa too. I didn't say who's playing what.
being missing is, we're about to find out. Look, in less than however many hours everyone's going to end up playing. Sombra is going to be missing, and most importantly from this meta. I'd be very doubtful if any Sombra got played at all. I think that's probably the biggest difference from the previous meta when we exited the regular season summer stage. You mentioned tanks already. The biggest change to me was on the Orisa side. Not seen in this particular graphic here, but Orisa is the tank that is shot up the most in terms of pick priority. I also managed to spot a decent amount of Doomfist. Winston is not dead either. Winston actually got a buff, so there's a possibility that Winston also still gets played a little bit. So I think Doom, Winston, and Orisa will see a decent amount of play time. I've seen some teams experimenting with Sigma as well on the support side of things. Surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, one of the biggest winners on this patch was Lifeweaver. And I talked about Doomfist and Winston. Well, one of the ways you play with the Doomfist and Winston now in a dive is you actually pair that hero with a Lifeweaver, and you essentially get a free escape tool in the Life Grip. And now the stats on Lifeweaver are so insane that I think there's a real possibility we see some Lifeweaver.
Maybe. At least people are keeping that ace up their sleeve. It could be a situational thing, too. We've seen a little bit of Lifeweaver in Owl already, even before the buffs of just
that was trolling, though,
Come on, I thought it was cool. Rack Attack was cooking up something on that side. I'm not going to lie. Now the tree is super tree. Nature is healing and healing a lot now. But I think the support du jour has been a lot of Illari, a lot of FAP, and this new hero is so fun to watch.
I think it's one of the most exciting hero releases we've had in a long time. Skill expression on Alari is insane. It's so super high, very mechanically rewarding. I mean, at this point, everyone's watching has probably already seen the gameplay. You've either played Alari yourself or you've seen someone else play it, and I think in the hands of the pros, you're going to be treated as something special, especially when top flick support players get their hands on this hero and you see their POVs. It is wild in terms of what you can do. Super strong ultimate, a lot of ways to block it. We are also playing on the live patch as well, so for those curious, yes, the nerfs to Alari didn't end up going through, and we are going to be playing the slightly nerfed version, even though I think a couple of things might still need a nerf extra. Healing pylon to me is still really strong, like maybe way too strong. It's all your healing, really. You don't even really need to right click to heal. You'll right click to save your wrist if she's really in trouble, but your pylon's going to do the bulk of the work there.
Yeah, she feels like the new Zenyatta these days, of just that really pure damage support. But she does kind of build up a sort of energy, so you're not just piling on the damage nonstop. There is a sort of measured approach you gotta do. You got the new mode of Flashpoint. If you're new to this, it's kind of like Control, but there's 3 control points, or at least there's many control points on one map, and there are
on a map.
5 control points, and I think first to 3s, and they're spread all over the map. So excited to see that in our 3rd rotation, or map 3 in our rotation.
It's also loser picks as well, so I'll be interested in seeing what teams are end up gonna choosing here. My big sadness out of the sort of new map pool is that Escort, my favorite game mode, is relegated to map 5. But I guess the silver lining there is we're going to end on what I think is the best game mode. We're going to be ending, if we're going full 5 mappers, map number 5 is going to be hype, because I think some of the best moments are going to happen on Escort. But yeah, map 3, Flashpoint. Let's see a lot of Flashpoint. I think the good news about Flashpoint is that there's enough variety within the maps themselves. As we talked about, 5 control points on the single map between Yuzhong City and Survasa. So hopefully it's not going to get too stale, because you're only going to see 2 maps, but at least both maps have a lot of variety within the map.
For sure, and it gives you another game type too to play a lot of Lucio. The Lucio players aren't just going to be playing Control and being subbed out, at least if that's their bread and butter. They're seeing a lot of Lucio play on Flashpoint to rotate from one point to the other, because they're very spread apart, and you actually don't know what the next point is until it unlocks, or until that point is complete. And what's interesting about going back to Alari, and just the adjustments that people are making in this patch, is that DPS players, I'm hearing whispers that DPS players are starting to flex themselves to support to play that Alari, because it plays so similarly to Hitscan.
Yeah, as others have mentioned, they gave a Sojin to support role.
Yeah.
And finally, those teams that have held onto 3 DPS players, the 3rd guy's like, it's my time to shine. It's ready to go. As we take a look at standings here, 1 through to 10, not the best regular season finish in the summer stage for going to a Charge Pokerface, who will also be covering in our first game today. Didn't go too hot at 1 and 7 either. Top of the line is going to be Dallas Fuel and the Soul Inferno. Only 1 map separating those 2. And of course, for finishing the regular season in first place, Dallas Fuel are going to get a recolored skin as well. So they're going to get their championship skin from last year, winning the grand finals, plus then being the top finishing team of the summer stage here in the East. They'll get a recolored skin of, I'm not too sure which one they'll get, but they'll get something for that. Unfortunately, Solarfield will miss out twice. Oh, that sucks. But they can still make an insane run through the playoffs and pray that they can win the grand final, do something special there. Here's all the teams that we're going to be seeing in the knockouts. 12 of them, you mentioned, extra 2 teams in Rose and SPG as well.
And the MVP nominations are out if you guys have just been under a rock. And from the Apex side, Skewed and Zest from the Soul Infernal have their names up. So stay tuned on how you can vote and support APAC and see if they can make it high. But hey, here's our schedule for the week too. We're starting with our first matches of the group. No matter what happens, there's a lower bracket. And then waiting on the other side is Fuel Spark, the Souls on Sunday.
Yeah, I might get another Soul Ball down bottom. That'll be pretty fun. It'd be a good way to end the knockouts. Does mean that only one of them can make it through the knockouts. The other one will be relegated to play-ins. The safety net for the Overwatch League teams, as previously mentioned, is that they get to at least be in a position where if they fail here in the bracket, they get knocked out, they lose 2 games, they still got 1 more shot to play through. Let's take a look at bracket A first. We're going to be covering this one personally ourselves. Pokerface, Panthera, Rose Dreamers are going to be 2 games that we're going to be looking at. Winner of the first game goes up against the Fuel. That will be pretty unenviable given that Fuel ended the regular season summer stage in #1. They, generally speaking, looked like probably one of, if not the best team. Hydro Spark also had a really nice turnaround towards the end there, actually beat Dallas Fuel. So Dallas Fuel didn't get a perfect record because they lost to Spark.
And just to reiterate kind of the stakes of knockouts, we're taking the average of the spring and summer knockout placings to determine the qualification for playoffs. Contenders teams are not eligible to play in play-ins, so this is the only opportunity for them to sneak their way and rob somebody of their playoff spot. And I've talked about this through the spring. Yeah,
only Dreamers, because they are the only contenders teams that actually had any sort of real placement in knockouts for spring, and so that counts in terms of your playoffs qualification pathway. So yeah, of the contenders teams, most of them are here for fun. The Dreamers, that Dream is still alive. They are the one contenders teams out of all of them that they can actually make it to playoffs. Dreamers could go to Toronto.
Well, there's two teams that are not going to be here for fun, okay? Because we got to settle the score between Poker Face and Panthera. The last time these two teams faced at the beginning of this month, Panthera reverse swept them. And these teams have been neck and neck since even the last knockouts had very similar results. When they both started their journey in the Spring Opens, Poker Face actually had the higher seed coming in second, had so much hype behind them with all the former OWL players, and Panthera flew under the radar as one of the lower seeds. But with OWL promoting so much talent, it's Panthera's turn to shine. But it's still Poker Face that have so much name value behind them, and even with some new pickups.
I'll tell you what, Muse, he's still looking for that. Is it 100th map win? It is 100th map win, and we thought he was going to get his last game played versus Panthera. He missed out by 1 map. He's on 99, and he's got another shot, and that went to 5 maps, right? So he got 2 out of the 3 maps required to go to 100. It's likely he does it today. In fact, I'm certain that he does it in this particular game, because I don't see Panthera getting 3-0. However, I mean, it is a new patch. Anything can happen. Things will get wild here. Poker Face, plenty of our veterans. Hidden joining the team. Victoria's gone. FYI, no longer on the squad, so it'll be Hidden Valentine full-time now.
Still breaks my heart. I've just been casting Victoria Valentine, the queen and the lover, for so long, and just couldn't get to the heights that they had hoped in their career and as a duo. So Hidden was already playing with them as the Sombra during the double flanker meta, which just didn't bode well for Poker Face. But Panthera, they looked good in that double flanker, but actually moved away from it, went towards more Hanzo and Echo, and that's what allowed them to reverse sweep. They said, instead of forcing this meta, let's get away from it. And Do is that new pickup for them too.
Nice is still here, so interesting that Nice will not be starting out. When I first looked at this Panthera team with the introduction of the new DPS players, there's a lot of overlap between Do and Becky. I think they have mostly the same heroes, especially when we talk about the Tracer. I do wonder if this is, you know, the particular situation where you want one Tracer play and the other one's on more of a Echo type look. You know, Becky leans into the Echo heavily. I think Echo is still viable on this patch, but you know, largely there's a lot of unknown factors. We talked about the fact that Bastion is quite good now. Torb is quite good now. Soldier is really good now as well. There's a lot of potential that it might not be Tracer at all. It could just be, it could be hit scan and a flex DPS as well. Genji's starting to creep in. Also, I'm a little sad personally that Tracer might not get played as much, but we'll see how these teams move through.
Maybe on a Flashpoint, when you need that super mobile hero, kind of the whoever plays alongside a Torbjorn, that's been a lot more flexible depending on the preference. And Oasis will be our map one. Still getting used to it being so bright. It used to be such a beautiful beige orange sunset map, but map 1 begins. And another thing we want to mention about Panthera is they have Develop, who swapped his role from DPS to support. And I wonder if that's an Illari preparation.
That's the Illari player right there. I mean, he did that before he even knew what the new hero was, but that's exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like, it's time to shine. Dude was a Sojin player last year as well on the charge. Predominant hit scan player. Now you've been given the hit scan of all hit scans on a support position. There's no way Developer's not going to have his hands all over the new hero. I think that's going to be an exciting POV to watch. I'd be surprised if he didn't bring it out straight away.
I hope we get to see some Illari. That'll be my first time casting it. Maybe you guys' first time watching it. And even a different look for Panthera too. Having Jasmine and Arpen sharing tank duties once Fate was promoted, and now with more time, more play time, now in a new patch, how will Panthera adapt? How will Pokerface overcome that? Because they forced that double flanker meta on the previous patch and didn't look good for them. Do they stick to their game? Do they go to the meta stuff? Do they watch what the Overwatch League teams are scrimming and do what they're doing? Panthera cooking up some Malari though.
We were betrayed. It's develop on BAP instead, so that happened. Oh well, it is what it is. I mean, look, you essentially have two massive damage dealing supports now. I think BAP Alari has been noted as one of the predominant combos. We did also see the Rhine for Arpen being hovered. Yeah, Ryan actually got a buff in the last patch. Shield amount increased. So Hardy's out there clapping, he's celebrating. And it means that, you know, if you want to play Alari BAP, you're not going to have the Lucio. And the loss of speed is probably going to affect this comp a little bit. I'd be surprised if they didn't also run the sim. Oasis, University, you're expecting some sort of Brawl mirror. This patch is still really good for Brawl. I think this patch is much better for Brawl than actually the last patch. Last time you would have to be kind of running it head first into a Sombra dive, and depending on the map that could be painful. Here it's pretty viable across the board. So yeah, I think these are pretty real comps. Ram got highlighted there for Muse.
Where Muse was just so well known for his Winston, and it felt like one of the best, maybe only things he could play, and that's where the meta you thought that Pokerface were going to thrive in, but just the Sombra Tracer was what they lacked. It's a very difficult DPS duo to execute. So I wonder how Muse is going to fare, and especially with what the Ram nerfs that we saw, we weren't seeing too much Ram being scrimmed, and it's been a lot more Reinhardt, but again, Muse, when it came to the rush preference, he was the Ram guy, so see if they stick with that after the pause.
I think as far as, you know, Brawl goes, Orissa's even really climbed up the rankings in terms of being the predominant pick there. Like Orisa Ryan is not uncommon. I mean, Ram did get like a kind of buff in other directions, but maybe Ram's gameplay will start to go down a lot now as well. We'll have to see if that's the case. You know, you mentioned Muse had a certain likening to the Winston. I would have actually described Arpen as that player as well. So both players would have probably preferred the Winston. Winston is still viable if you want to build the comp around that. It really is going to come down to, you know, for Hidden and Valentine, moving away from the Sombra, probably a good thing in terms of, you know, you didn't think they were that competent on the Sombra meta. They're probably happy to be away from it.
And Do, known for his Genji, Tracer, Hanzo, maybe getting hints that Genji could come out too. It's such kind of an open table meta where a lot of teams are still exploring and experimenting what's going to work for them, and it's the race to figuring out how to crack the meta, crack the cheat code of what's going to be the thing that everybody runs. And unironically, even Bastion is a thing, but on small maps like this, not expecting it, but I'm ready to be surprised. Finally unpausing after some frame rate issues from one of the teams, and yeah, it'll be the rush, but Ram versus Rhine.
Sojourn's also found our way back in the meta here as well, so a lot of things are viable. Start of a new meta is always exciting, and as expected, there will in fact be the sim coming on through TP straight into the high ground. Contest for Panthera, they want to hold it early. You mentioned Muse playing a little bit of that Winston. He's got to stick on that Winston. Yeah,
and he got forced right out and tried to maybe bubble off the heals from Arpen, jumped back, avoided the wall from Do, but Becky was first to be picked, and that's a lot of DPS gone. You gotta watch out for Aiden as you step down and not get booped, but he got so greedy looking for that onto Arpen. So now it's a trade on the other side. I'm sure Becky is back, so Panthera in a 5v4 need to force their hand. Arpen can swing a little bit harder at Muse. He's playing a lot more scared than I was expecting. Maybe worried about the DPS of Panthera, but the point is unlocked and no one's capped yet.
Panthera have control. They got the first ultimate as well. Develop farm that one nice and quickly. Thought about using it, but not going to be required to take down Muse. And with Muse gone, should be a fairly easy cap now. They've got the cap indeed. And can they clean up further members? Maybe just hit, and the rest of Pokerface seem to have gotten away.
Maybe some more tech issues coming from the Pokerface side. At least they'll have a Kitsune rush silver lining for the next fight. Yeah, Muse has been a lot more conservative with his jumps, and he's quick to just disengage. And I think once Arpen and friends on the Rhine realize that disengage, they should really try to be aggro off of that. But if Muse can kind of split up the team, cause confusion, break up the heals, there's win conditions on both sides. But
Yeah.
Muse versus Arpen, you know, Winston versus Rhine, that's not in a vacuum going to favor the Winston.
I think this is a dangerous composition for the Winston as well, because notably it doesn't include the Ana here, and Ana did get nerfed in the most recent patch, so well, rather the Season 6 starting patch, so it's maybe not a surprise that Simple's playing the Kiriko instead, who did receive a little bit of a buff, but you're just kind of missing, I think, the raw output of what a Nano Boost does, and the much superior pocket healing that an Ana can provide over what the Kiriko does, especially given the Bionade. And the Bionade is also very important for dives, and we established quite a lot in the previous meta with Sombra Tracer Winston that Bionades offensively thrown were pivotal to getting key targets down to make sure that they weren't just going to be healed out of it, and that's especially important versus, I think, a heavy heal, brawl type composition where players are stacked. I mean, previously that would have been prime Ana territory, but for Pokerface, they're kind of still clinging on to bits and pieces of the dive. The Reaper is interesting. You do like the Tracer in this particular dive as well. So, yeah, the comp is maybe a little bit washy-washy from my perspective of the Pokerface side, and Panthera are playing to their strengths in terms of what is good on University, and that typically is brawl.
Kiriko being able to just play on that off angle too. If wants to go exploring with someone like Valentine or Hidden, who have the mobility to do so. Valentine has already TP'd to that left side coast, hoping to find his way into the flank. The Kitsune rush engaged for Pokerface, but they just get the door shut on them. On the engage, they lose 2 on impact. Panthera bring out the Amp Matrix in their face and make Pokerface pay for it in blood. And Panthera will keep the point.
Valentine just gets ripped apart straight away. No shift even to be able to save him. So Kitsune Rush is not going to end up doing enough there. One ultimate used to counter from Develop's POV, and that's it. Panthera get to hold on to everything else. So big ticket items that they have on board they didn't even have to use in that last fight there. Really looking good to push this one all the way to 99 as Pokerface just kind of struggled to get anything together.
You got the Photon Barrier. Once Pokerface looks a bit more committed into this fight, this could be another defensive tool for Panthera, but not if Muse just engages. Develop didn't see that coming. Where's the call for Panthera? Now this Photon Barrier used to seal up the corridor, I guess, as Arpen wanted to contest it. Wasted his life, and now Do is wasting the Blizzard, thinking that's winnable when they're down by 2, including Arpen and Develop. Panthera are just in shambles.
They're trying to regroup at the moment. They can still engage this one fairly easy with the 2 ultimates remaining. It's decent. Have to make sure they can outplay Valentine. I mean, Death Blossom can just get shattered here unless Simple comes with a save. And I guess the save was kind of there. No shadow to be found. Death Blossom out. Saw the Suzu come in to prevent anybody from stopping Valentine. Now this is where Panthera, they're going to get wiped. And the cap already went to Pokerface in the previous fight, so now they just get to get extra percentage points.
Yeah, not a ton to answer besides the Immortality Field and a boop, and Valentine just crept up from the side. Panthera, if they're going to be playing clumped up together, they got to watch all the angles. Pokerface be able to close the gap in the score, but Panthera just TP past this, or sorry, just TP back to the point. It's Pokerface with the Kitsune rush. They engage us once the wall breaks down for Do, and Becky, what a shot from Hidden. The Sound Barrier too late, but a 4v5 that Panthera wants to engage in. What a shatter. Got 3 on the ground. Actually only 2, but the Sound Barrier from Aiden keeps them still standing. Muse won't allow anyone to stand, not on his side of the field. Primal Rage locking up multiple people as Pokerface invests more, but got a lot more valuable out of those tools.
I was almost thinking that Panthera could have just tempo beated there to get into the fight. I mean, tempo has gone all the way of Pokerface at this rate. Hidden with the nice quick shot to take down Panthera and get a 5v4 early as we make a huge swap now. Panthera going full dive. We're back in the old meta with the ball as well instead of Winston. Do even come through with the Sombra. Quite nerfed. I mean, much harder to charge the EMP now and not a lot of time to do it with as we head into the OT. Hidden holds on to the only ultimate available. I think he might find this pulse bomb in the middle of the fight. It's Hidden that can make the damage done.
Oh, Pokerface extending out of the point, not letting Panthera touch him. There's no supports, no slay, no develop, no hope. Hidden. I'm so glad to see him on this roster. He is popped off. Even gets gotten these initial shots, these initial picks onto Becky, which cuts that DPS in half for Panthera. And you got the 3K at the end styling on them as we'll figure out what issues Pokerface are having, but no issues, at least results-wise, as they're up around.
Yeah, Hidden did so well over the course of University there. Really opening up the fights and saved the overclock until the end and didn't really need to use it earlier. I think part of the woes for Panthera there was the fact that I think the mage just doesn't find enough value in a brawl versus dive composition. So that could have been one hero you look to remove. And given the fact that they were playing the Lucio, the Sim could have probably have gone to the sidelines as well. They could have looked towards, you know, more of a Sojin type look for Panthera. As we already mentioned, Torb is very good on this patch as well. You'll play some strong anti-dive. Valentine brought out a Reaper. That's also an option for Panthera. I think trying to hard force the Mei and the Sim at the same time, which would have been really good in a Brawl Mirror, much less good versus Pokerface, especially once their dive starts to really get rolling. They maintain map control. They have all the tempo. Panthera are stuck playing this rotation game, and they're losing members off the rip in a lot of 4v5s.
I think, yeah, just Becky going to anything but the Sim. It's just so weak to the dive, as you already explained. And we know that Becky, the best heroes we've seen them on in the previous patch was a lot of Hanzo and a lot of Echo. Do you want to play Echo against that good of a Sojourn and Hidden? That's a tough one. You can make that work. Then the Hanzo, do we even have the space to operate? Teams have played Hanzo against Winston before, but it's if do you even have the space and the time to think, the time to land the shots? It's something Becky has proven himself in before. But Panthera looks like they have a lot of time to figure out what their next comp is going to be once Pokerface figure out what's up.
We'll be moving away from University at least, which opens things up
Eventually.
to far more dive favored territory. Yeah, it's surprising that Pokerface found as much, I think, distance as they actually got in terms of effectiveness of their comp, because it didn't look good to start with. They're essentially playing, and still are for the time being, essentially playing the Grand Finals playoffs comp from last year, but in a very different state of the game. This time around, Panthera, yeah, they flirted with the idea of playing the new hero, but they're just going to be going towards the Brigana with the Winston. Yeah, this is a far more previous patch, previous meta for Overwatch League kind of look, with Becky on his signature Echo. Talked about this being his best hero. Well, he's going to find any excuse he can to get on it.
And City Center's just a lot more open, unlimited skies too. You give the nano to Becky every second of every day, and how does Valentine just headshot a Tracer? You should be able to blink from that. Now Valentine going for more and spots Becky on the other side of this pillar, but dropped off, loses that DPS range, but converts all of those bullets right into R-Pen. And I like that Pokerface just kind of readjust their focus onto the people that matters. You spot R-Pen without jump, and that's when you gotta go for him. Pokerface look good on the dive.
They're already leading one, so Musey's looking for his 100th map win in our first map today. If he can clean up this as well on City Center. But I think Panthera have a lot more to say on this particular round than they had on previous ones, as Becky's already leading the charge here in terms of ult. Finds the duplicate already, but Arpin repeatedly, he's been first picked. Well, technically speaking, Du was first picked last time, but Arpin fell really quick in this time as well, exactly the same.
Arpin just has to be careful on where he dives. When this Reaper Valentine just plays so close to his team, Hidden can jump in to the fight no matter how far away he is with that mobility that hitscan has. But you're going up against, you know, a former Owl Pro on one of his best heroes, Muse. I'm glad that he didn't let the meta get away from him too much. Becky dupes the Reaper, can generate this death plus quickly, but already out of that form. Arpen has been nanoed, and he has the primal. Panthera, though, they're forcing so many ults out of Pokerface. The barrier, the Kitsune Rush, Valentine with the 2k Death Blossom. That's enough to win the fight when you take care of both supports.
Yeah, Becky opened up with the duplicate, but that duplication form was instantly gotten rid of, and Pokerface shoved themselves straight into the middle of Panthera. Death Blossom getting a large amount of value again, and the Sound Barrier, perfect timing from Aiden, has that one farmed up, ready to go. Cancels out the 4-man, Byron coming through from Development. Continue we are with the Pokerface 5v4s, but they just can't quite catch a break here, whether it's Du going down first, Arpin going down first, and now being pseudo spawn camped. 90% final fight territory. Pokerface is looking comfortable in Oasis.
Yeah, Pokerface started off the series last time they met in good fashion, but it's how they end that matters. Arpen not able to use the primal. Yeah, at least someone's able to touch the Panthera, and Arpin should use this out of spawn if he can even get back, too. Been consistently first pick, too, as someone who needs to lurk and be a lot more hidden. Speaking of the guy, he's insane. He's cracked the first game. And he's hitting shots like that. Good Suzu to get Valentine back in the picture after the anti from Develop. Stu actually gets the flip for free. Pokerface focused on winning the war, and so they have. Muse is primaling the backline. Slay was able to get Mega and keep himself alive, and as Pokerface overextended to kill Slay when he was low, he somehow kills too. So this has been turned by Panthera.
It's capped as well, dude. Got that one with the back cap. Arpin could still go down here. Still opportunity for Pokerface to clean up. Tuna Rush ready to go. Panthera, they've been bought another life here. Another lifeline just off the back of the double kill from Slay. That with the fact that do manage to get the cap, so yeah, those two things combined have allowed Panthera to still remain in City Center. It's looking extremely dire. It's not over yet.
Not over yet. Pokerface, don't choke this. Kitsune Rush, is it enough? Barrier coming up. Panthera have two tanks now. Becky hasn't even gotten an ultimate out of these four. Kitsune Rush down barrier, and the Death Blossom. Panthera, their backs have been pushed against the wall, and they made this possible. They had to nano the break to keep Slay alive. Develop gone again. Only one healer, but no team left to support. Panthera will be giving up the point once Pokerface decide to flip.
Yeah, the only thing they did wrong there was they didn't send one player back to cap. They needed to be able to get the cleanup while capping at the same time, but with that kill to do, it probably doesn't matter here. Another 5 versus 4. Panthera, no one left alive to actually continue the touch after Trace has gone down, and with a little bit more back and forth than maybe we expected for City Center, Pokerface finally get it done, and Muse finally gets number 100.
And he's all smiles. I'm glad that Pokerface stuck to their strengths. Pick up this new DPS player, and look how good he is. Mashing up with Valentine, the Reaper Winston, back to kind of the old meta you were talking about. Pokerface up in the series, but they got reverse swept last time. Will they flip the script this time again? We'll find out on the other side of this break.
This ends now. My ultimate is charged. Double two. Cleaning house. Double. Feels like this never get old. This ends now. Confirmed. I got you.
Poker Face up 1-0 in the series. After a win on Oasis, we go to the choice of map from Panthera. Some substitutes coming in. Once again, congratulations to Muse on the 100th map win. The guy's still trying to prove himself. Leg day?
He's not here.
He's got fans across the ocean.
He's in another castle.
Maybe he'll be here tomorrow if you'll be here tomorrow. I'll tell him you say, I'll actually screenshot this right now and send it to him. You talk now.
Leg day may or may not be awake. I don't know. My leg day was yesterday.
I'm waking him up.
Alrighty, here we go. Hippie coming in. Exy coming in. Which means it's off tank time. Map is going to be Numbani, by the way. There it is. Use 100 wins. Map wins.
Woo!
So Pippi Diva
You're
is
done.
probably what's on board.
You can rust now, my man. You've done all the work you needed.
That's actually the real reason. He's finished 100 maps, and he wants to just keep it clean at 100. He's not going to play again. He's done for the season.
KDA player. Peppy is in, who's that off-tank player, and Numbani coming up. We were trying to figure out. We were cooking on whether this was going to be Diva, Zarya, Orisa. Who knows?
I don't think it's going to be Zarya's here, unless it's...
Hey, APAC cooks up some Zarya sometimes.
Some really desperate scenarios. It's C point, and this is all I can play.
Oh, and Axie's in too, replacing Aiden, and Aiden was main support. Axie is flex support, so double flex support for this team, which usually this was a lot of Ana Kiriko, but with Alarian, who knows?
I think it's Bapalari Orisa. I think it's Diva point A, and then we go into hard Bapalari Orisa for B and C. That's what my read on this particular swap. Poker Face. Might even start Bapalari for A as well. Maybe a little bit more risky, but we'll see.
Cool story, bro.
No changes. Panthera.
Well, at least
I thought it was a cool story.
compositionally.
I put F in that story.
I could tell. In our bet, I mean, we've seen the Ryan from them. I don't mind Ryan on Numbani defense and offense if you go top left, but you mind it? Okay. You don't like the cheese, huh?
I don't mind Ryan if it's C. I think the other 2 points are not good for Ryan, so that would be a mistake.
I know, like, Justice like to play Ben Best only on this map for Ryan. So the owl cheese transcends time and regions.
Most likely, a lot more Winston. Rolled up in here. Keeping, again, they got Nikes on the roster. So, essentially double Tracer plays available here. For maybe a little bit of extra hit scan on Doo's side. I'm ready for Panthera to blow the gates open with a totally different comp though. I think Numbani is going to be our first look at some of the new stuff, given that our control map is still going to mostly die favored. Not a surprise, it was mostly Winston at the end of the day there. I also mentioned that Winston was probably still going to see some game time. He didn't get nerfed at all, so why not? Numbani, especially Peppy in. I'm sensing, I'm seeing it. I'm looking to the future. I'm seeing the Bapalari Orisa.
Okay, I'm seeing maybe Nice go on the Hanzo too, which I think is strong on Numbani. Very meta on Numbani, no matter what happens to the guy.
But Nice isn't here.
Oh, I heard you say his name.
I was mentioning that I mentioned that he wasn't subbed in, and that wasn't off.
Ah, you tricked me. Maybe they should put him in.
That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna do hard
no
dive
hate.
here. Tracer,
I'm not a hater.
Tracer Echo hard dive. Brigana. So we're gonna get confirmation. First actual Lari gameplay in the Overwatch League.
Ooh.
It's gonna come from Simple.
No pressure.
So the original that turret spot, by the way, that's really OG. Like I remember seeing that in 2016, back in full 6v6 mode. 2016, Torb defense Numbani. That was the original spot. Pylon placements are very important here, very key for especially the defense. You hide them in difficult to attack spots. One of them is right above, because you see on the top left there for Simple. I think you can put it even higher. The range on the pylon is super long.
Poker Face have this split approach too. They have their Ashe and then one support. Okay, they're simple.
Pull that
On
nade.
one side, that's a triple ante from Develop, and as Do went to capitalize as the rest of Panthera dove in. They took so much damage and did so little to Poker Face. Torb ends up being such a good anti-dive hero with shotgun, turret that you gotta deal with too, which forces the hand of Panthera to deal with that first. And Panthera really got burned.
Hit on the Ashe as well, so plenty of long range poke. I mean, this is extreme poke damage, even the turret adding some value in there. Properly taken down by the stickies of Becky, though. At least when you're playing the Echo, turret's not usually too much of a problem. Also notice that the turret is not really doing much for Peppy. Peppy is kind of static as a Sig. It's the one downside of not having a mobile hero like a Diva is your Sigma is just kind of stuck on the other side of the map. Break the pylon. Both your backliners are dead. And Sigma can't do anything about it.
At least Panthera chose the right direction this time. It was a triple ante that went to the top left. That didn't work out. Let's try the other side, top right, where there was less people. It was hidden and simple on that side. Panthera capitalized, and there's nothing Peppy can do on a Sigma to
this is why you gotta
cross
run
over
Diva
and
here.
be involved.
I think the Sigma just doesn't... Okay, well, don't dive the side of the Sigma. Dive the other side of the map. And the Sigma just AFKs because they can't do anything.
Yes.
So it's unlucky. This would be a nice time to go Orisa, but Peppy is committed 52% towards the Flux. Oh, snap from long range. Downtown Valentine hit that.
Kind of tough to hit those two, unless you're just grind the Junkenstein game mode. At least that's how I became good at Torb. Because the primary fire has this kind of weird drop off. Pretty large projectile though. That forces Panthera's momentum down a lot, but gives Du a chance to maybe build up towards the Dragon Blade, which he's already overextending, trying to duel against this Torbjorn who has the turret up. Forcing now this Torbjorn back. The Nano actually goes to Arpen, even though Du was so close to the Dragon Blade. And they're simple. Who, well, gets nothing with that, but Poker Face did look threatening.
Panthera basically all alive here. I mean, Becky's got the copy here as well. Arpen survived. Develop was the only one that went down. I was personally very much ready for our first Captain of Sun ultimate of the Overwatch League to also be deflected because Dude's playing Genji. That would have been insane. That would have been... I would have lived for that. That would have been perfect. It didn't happen. Simple got that off, but no kills. And that's the issue with running. Unfortunately, you know, Alari great in the poke, but you need the follow-up damage. And no one fast enough. No one has the capability of just landing extra shots to proc the Sunstroke for the extra damage. Panthera survived. They win the fight. Halo continues on. Payload positioning not amazing at the moment, but some good ultimates online now for Panthera to push it through.
Now Du will have a blade. Only the Kitsune rush that's being used. Du benefits from this, and the Deadeye right in his face. He has the deflect. Does he look through? Du was trying to hide, climbs up the wall. Du puts fear in his eyes, and the turret's the one who finishes off Du. So Poker Face 5v4, but here's the follow-up of Arpen. Late, but still valuable. Evening things up 4-4, but Arpen just getting enough healing there from Slay. But Panthera haven't really gotten any cart push, and now that their tank is missing, Slay and Develop are getting pushed in by Peppy. Gets the free lane, and as Arpen and Becky get back, this fight is done.
Yeah, well, they had a really split offense at Panthera. Arpen ended up going deep, Slay to save. Unfortunately, that means the rest of the team on the ground side are going to be stuck on the payload, and as you mentioned, Arpen looking for health packs, trying to get healed up. 2-2 split for Panthera. That Poker Face decide to go for the ground and win that fight. Eventually, Arpen has to come back, and they'll clean him up as well. So, defense holds for Poker Face there. And that Magnate really ruined Dude's day. It was the blade, but immediately hindered, meaning you can't really go anywhere. You want to dive in. You want to play some extra mobility to get yourself into slash range. Never really happened.
Now hit into the Soldier. See if that Tac Visor would be a more valuable ultimate than the Deadeye, because saw the tactical grenade didn't really stop Du. It kind of brought a lot of value from the blade.
It
and
ruined.
made him hide, I
think it
guess.
ruined the blade entirely. That the nade wasn't actually really.
It could have been deflected though, so I wasn't sure how that was
From
gonna
the
end up.
POV, it looked like the nade was going to clip the ceiling, but it ended up just going through and hitting him. So it was a interesting situation. I didn't think the nade was going to hit, but it did. And think Dude maybe didn't think it was going to hit either. They're currently stuck.
Nano Arpen on his way. Has the Primal 2. He can be aggro. Poker Face have the Matrix, which is going to slow Arpen. Make him hesitate. Gravitic Flux, and Peppy gets killed. Not able to complete the ultimate. Of course, an Ana player of all things claims the kill. Now you got Primal, no tank standing in Panthera's way. Kitsune Rush full sending it. The captive son though of Simple trying to make up for the lack of damage. But Pokerface are getting forced back. There's no saving Xe there. Panthera just, well, throw ultimates at him. See if you can get more presence on this card to complete the push.
It's looking like a possible completion now, but with Pepe coming back on Orisa finally, this hero should have been played much earlier. You just see that Sigma doesn't have the staying power. That's why you need something like the Orisa instead, but the blade, the second blade will come through. Trying to find a little bit more value than beforehand. 3 meters left to go. So far, the blade's just taking care of the Simple and the pylon. Maybe that's enough, though. Gotta get rid of Pepe, though. Time's running out.
Oh, Pepe is just gonna be so difficult to remove unless the anti-nade is enough. Now there's no support, no tank. Pokerface, it's all up to these DPS to carry, but Becky on the Tracer's too much to handle. And that cap will go through no matter what Pokerface have to do or say. And 90 seconds is added.
Yeah. They'll eventually get that one. They should have had that one pretty comfortably, but things got a little bit dicey towards the end there. Blade Salt not finding the biggest of values, but at least they're starting to get some decent picks on their way in for Panthera. And they have tempo going to the last point. Possibly unlikely to actually get the final cap now. There's not a lot of time left to go through, and Pokerface are slowly but surely on what I think is the right comp. Exiting on the Ana is interesting. No BAP here anymore.
Yeah, Nano Visor. Feels like Du has had so little value with the blades too that he can force his deflect out or try to Visor when he has no deflect at all. It's how Hidden can have a win in condition. Pepe's the one who's nanoed and he's an unstoppable force. What a sleep though. That'll slow him down, and Panthera's supports might have been able to escape. Or the supports might have been able to escape into the spawn room doors. Now Arpan is gone, not able to pop the primals, so Panthera, I really thought they were going to be able to cap there.
I think it was going to be tough. They have to, first of all, find the primal, which Arpin was like, what, 6% away from. Slightly too slow on that. One final 10, now 10 seconds left to go. Payload distance is not bad here for a final push, but you're also heading into triple ultimates on the Pokerface side. Molten Core played actually earlier than I expected. I would have imagined he would have saved that one for a little bit longer, but here we go. Does at least prevent the full value from the Kitsune Rush from being applied.
Tried to stop Panthera from touching, and Arpan had to be the one who committed the jump to it. Captive Son gets cleansed there by Slay. Here is the... does he build up toward? At least he zones out the card even though nobody's in it, but sacrifices his life for it. 3 down for Pokerface as Panthera head for the end of the map. And maybe respawns can come back in time. It will be Valentine up first.
5 plays live though. Blades up as well. Pokerface now going for the final touch. They just don't have enough players and don't have enough respawns. We're into the OT, so R2 saw in the respawns there and Hidden never found that tag visor. It just wasn't there. Not enough damage done. Couldn't stay alive. And Panthera will get it across the line. Final push, man. That Captive Sun has unfortunately not found much value in this particular matchup so far. I guess versus Dive, you're just not going to hit enough targets. You're going to hit a couple of targets, but low quantity of targets means easy Suzu for the cleanse. And RPM, he ate the Captive Sun, instantly got Suzu'd there, and Panthera just keep walking forward. No issues whatsoever. This is where we go back to the offense for B, and a nice catch from Byronade, and development of Pepe will secure it.
Yeah, that's an amazing position for an Ana to be in. If you can stay there and no one pressures you, the anti-nades are free, and you have a great escape route to the high ground. But Pokerface also used 2 ultimates to try and force a C9. The Orisa, Molten Core, and then got nothing really out of that. A bit of damage into Panthera, and once those were out, less win conditions for Pokerface. And then Panthera knew they had that window of opportunity and just jumped in.
Well, they needed to wait till the actual OT happens. You know, you have to wait until Pokerface have to play the payload, and then suddenly the Terror Surge and Molten Core are both extremely good in that scenario. But Terror Surge was never going to get good value because up against a dive, everyone just runs away from it. Everyone has some sort of mobility to get away. And if you play the Molten Core too early, and you don't have to touch, well, you sort of ignore it and wait until it's done. So Panthera didn't get the, rather Pokerface didn't get maximal value out of his ultimates. I also think that, again, Pepe just stayed on the Sigma for way too long. I don't really care that he's on 52% after losing A. Just swap straight away. Sigma's just not good enough at B at all. Sigma on A? Wasn't a big fan of that either, to be honest. I don't know if I just like the Sigma at all in this. I think Diva for A, Orisa for B and C is probably correct.
you can just avoid the Sigma. I think Sigma's a good brawler if he's faced in a fight, but yeah, Panthera are just gonna try and dive away from that as much as possible. Poker Face are so low. They got hit by an anti. Immortality is up. Almost the only thing keeping them standing as Arpin has to jump back after Hidden is able to put down dynamite pressure onto the backline. And Poker Face will cap within the first fight.
And Hidden's really doing some work, yeah. Keep Hidden alive. Hippie puts the shield up, puts the hand up, eats all the damage, and just allow Hidden the time and space to find the damage and the kills. And that's going to be a very quick A take. That was much faster than what Panthera had, given that Panthera did fail their initial push, their first attempt. A huge Bionade, or rather they sent the Bionade, but really get the kills. Now, 520 in the bank for Poker Face as they'll once again push on through, but yeah, again, we're just kind of chilling on the Sigma, which, as mentioned, has very low survivability versus dive compared to winners.
Poker Face can have this slow rush that, I guess it's not really rush, it's not quick, so it's just a shield that can just keep readjusting as they kind of prepare for an upcoming Amp Matrix from Axie to just kind of dominate this lane and see if they can catch Becky out in the open too. He has to be worried about this hit scan of Hidden. Been putting him in his place even ever since game one. And wow, Arpin gets punished trying to dive the Sigma. Now there's no tank, but Becky gets nanoed. See if he can find the equalizer. It's a bit of damage into those backlines, but gets a call that Valentine is low on that Echo. Chases it down, doesn't get anything before Valentine steals back the pull. Becky dupes Alari versus Alari. There's your second showing of the new hero, but Poker Face, if they don't get stopped here, this time bank is gonna get out of control.
I don't know who got hit by the Captain Sun there, but it's going to start forcing some awkward situations to happen. The second Captain Sun coming out in. Yeah, so apparently not enough players. I thought that was done for Panthera, but with Develop coming on back in, things start to look up for Panthera as they recover their scenario. I mean, look at the payload, 2.25 away. It's looking like a Cap. Panthera were really fumbling hard at the beginning of B. Player after player was getting picked, Arpin getting picked. 3v5 engage, way too over eager on the nano boost onto Becky, who was going to get minimal value. He's basically solo diving, no Tracer, no Winston, 2 supports and an Echo, not going to do too much there. Burns the dupe as well, actually stays alive on the dupe, stays alive longer to find his own copied ultimate. So really it took until the respawns of Panthera came back in for something to happen.
I liked if dude just went for the pulse bomb. If you catch Hidden scoped up like that, it's an easy target to hit, but misses that. And now 4 versus 4 after Develop gets dove on by Valentine. Not a lot of heals available for Panthera. Arpin will have the primal to sustain himself. Panthera just have to survive the defense. They don't really have to be aggressive here as the card is so in deep into B. It's Poker Face that have to make up the space, and now they have Pepe on Orisa. You can try to own that real estate a lot better as that Bob was summoned up, flailed away by Slay. The rally is what's barely keeping Arpen still standing, what's keeping this defense alive and well from Panthera, but they need to contest, and Arpen's there at the last second at half health. Slay is there with Inspire. The nano helps Arpen even more, but how long can they live? You need Du and Becky to find some kills, but Poker Face just seem unpressured here on the high ground. Captive Sun should take care of Becky, it seems, and no, he lives on. Develop, you can thank him for that. It's an all-out war, and Poker Face seems to be winning.
Becky's got ultimate, so he won't go down. Not just yet. Becky's been surviving. Dude is living through at the moment. Poker Face look like they're losing a lot of positioning here. They'll get rid of Becky, so no extra ultimate to come through from the copy. Orisa, and with enough kills on Poker Face, it looks like it should be a cap. Eventually, finally, they'll get this one done. Panthera held on for a long time. I think they held on for far longer than they had any business to, considering how poorly the early stages of B, rather, and A actually, or especially the early stages of B. I think the major swap here was, as we mentioned, Pepe going over towards Orisa. The staying power is strong. Poker Face eventually just having the necessary kills at the end there, despite Becky's duplicate to get the cap.
Poker Face more than doubling the timing that Panthera had to, and yeah, just thinking that back in that small amount of space, the Orisa was going to thrive eventually against the Winston. And I think now that you have this Orisa matchup, this mirror, this is gonna work out a lot better. And Du with the pulse negated by the immortality of Axie. Poker Face have the ultimates too. Terra Surge, maybe not even needing it, but you gotta shut down Du. He's just been way too comfortable in that backline. after dealing with XT, even with the pulse bomb cancelled. Now Panthera will hold on, finally having a good stop.
Panthera are also playing poker now, but the extra tracer doesn't really make sense in this comp anymore. Pepe's going to go back over to the 6. They really want to go for extra long range damage. Sig versus Orisa is actually a fine matchup, so this is one of the times where it makes more sense to play the Sig now that you're no longer up against the Winston. Up and could still swap back, but looks like Panthera committed now to playing their version of poke. The window out, Pokeface will respect it, and I'll just wait for it to go away.
Even Arpen just stepping up to see if he can get the Terror Surge built up and quickly using all the cooldowns to get away. Valentine looking to just jump into this backline. All the stickies. That could be a quick assassination, but besides against that, now has to dupe. And Arpen, well, he's helped back well into the loving arms of his teammates, but Develop has already said nope to that. Back to spawn. Not a ton of heals when you swap to the Zen there compared to the Ana, but needed to just defend himself. And now Kenya, when he got a dupe Orisa in your back. Poker Face, few more meters to go until they get to the end, and Panthera can't contest.
And there's time, a lot more time, which means now Panthera just play for the draw. 130 versus 0. Yeah, no contest there. Unfortunately, towards the end, Arpen, he completely just jumped in Narnia, came back quickly, but instantly died, severely out of position. That was egregious. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it again because I'm not too sure how he ended up in that position. He ended up nowhere, and that cost his team severely.
90 seconds should be enough with how quickly both these teams have been able to cap, usually within the first fight or so, maybe second. But Hidden, this is such an exciting player to watch. The Sojourn, the Ashe, the Dynamite 2 is what burned both these supports here at the end. I think he got more after that. Either way, it's what opened up the point, at least finalized things for Pokerface.
I think the good news for Panthera is if there's a way to draw, and I would not like to see a draw, but if there's a way to draw, I think they're going to hard stack right side from defenders POV. They're going to have to because they just kind of got rolled in that position before. And if you lose the hard right position that has the high ground here versus a poke composition that's going to shoot down from high to low, that's game over. So they have to hard contest that as much as possible, and with a strong Orisa defensive comp, Torb as well. I think it's possible. You just can't give Hidden the space to work with. Hidden having free shooting space as he did on that last A attempt push was way too much, as we saw from his replay POV.
How is Arpen gonna play around that Sigma shield? Seems, I think I saw, no, yeah, Arpen is on the same high ground. So you want to usually step past that shield if you can. Of course, you have a ton of armor and sustainability as the Orisa, one of the tankiest tanks you can be. Look how aggro he's being, making sure that Pokerface stays stuffed in that corner. Look at Valentine on a journey by himself. And the Echo doesn't have a break, doesn't have a mercy, just health packs to defend on. And with Hidden getting picked, forced back by Panthera, Valentine has to make sure he's hidden. And you see Becky looking for him.
Yeah, Becky has to be very concerned about where Valentine's going to pop up from, because most likely that's the target. Long range battle between Simple and Develop. They're just going to both trade shot, Develop the headshot. So, you know, talked about the fact that I want to see Develop play the Yalari. He'll finally pick it up. That's going to slow things down considerably for Pokerface. It's just a 1v1 duel, which, you know, in 90 seconds, you've really lost the fight. Can't really be affording to lose another player like that, because we're into really minimal time now.
Yeah, back-to-back first bloods for Panthera. It's just trying to out-brawl an Orisa as not an Orisa is gonna be tough for Peppy, who's already just getting stunned up, half health. Axie will help him out with the Ant Matrix. That's enough, punishing the aggression of Arpen. Not even any time to go for the Terror Surge. It's 5v3. Pokerface generating the 33%, and there's no one left from Panthera to drop. It's up to Develop and Slay, and they can't. Pokerface go to match point.
Yeah, I was thinking there was two real options there coming through from Pokerface. They could either burn the window early, try and force positioning on top left from attacker's POV, or they can try and just brute force their way onto the top left, get past the Orisa somehow, and then play the window for the point, which would have been preferable, but they've struggled to get on their high ground. They've struggled to break through the choke point. So, yeah, burn the window early, get rid of Arpen. Arpen wasn't expecting it, and you kind of have to. That, I guess, wasn't a shift available for Arpen. Certainly, Slay wasn't going to be able to throw the lamp over in time as well. So, quick kill to get rid of the tank, and Arpen down. Easy cap, only one tick required.
MVP XC in that moment. I really thought that draw was coming after they sacrificed both first bloods in that moment. Poker Face, do they get the sweep they wanted to get last time? We're gonna find out on the other side of this break. Poker Face got their game faces on today. They're on match point after just barely getting that Numbani. They had me worried about that draw.
We're about to see our first real look at our new game mode. So we'll take a look at some fans in the audience here as well. Looks like a Homer Simpson to me. But I don't know.
I don't know what that says.
I don't know
You're
what to-
pointing at it, but I can't read.
That's because
I
you're
don't know what the sign
American.
says for
Americans
that, 'cause
can't
I can't
read.
read. I'm
Americans can't speak
Canadian. I
English.
just said this to you. I don't count.
Here's
Hands up for
something
the
else.
Owl Renaissance.
Here's something else to say. Muse wasn't done with 100. He's looking for 101, and I ain't talking about Dalmatians here. We're going full send on Poker Face, looking for the 3-0. Muse will be part of that journey. I'm thinking there's going to be more dive. I think Winston is possibly still, yeah, kind of viable. On we're going to Survasa, FYI. Those that are not too sure which one of the two Flashpoint maps it is, it's the
Flip a coin.
one set in India
Take a
and the other
guess.
one's New Junk City. But we ain't doing that. I
Jasmine is in.
think I like this map more, except for one.
Than
No, I don't
Jasmine?
know. There's one point I dislike on both. But I would prefer the A point to be more fair, and A market here for Survasa is much better than A arena for New Junk. So there's that. But point E ruins, oh, that is a, or do not like ruins. That's not a good point.
Oh, we gotta break this down for all the beginners. It's gonna be our first time seeing this now.
I ain't
I
breaking
believe
anything
we got.
down. If you're not ready,
Okay.
then you're not ready. I'm actually not ready
What am I,
either.
what am
That's
I
the real
paying you
reason.
for?
You don't
Oh,
pay me.
okay. How do you know?
Check my
You
bank
don't.
and see what comes from.
Okay,
We're all figuring this out. We're all figuring this out together. This is our first professional look at Flashpoint. You know, a bunch of you guys have probably played it by now, but we didn't get to see it in contenders because they're playing live patch, but no Flashpoint. Cool, understandable. Which means it's the first time we're going to see it. I know teams have been scrimming this already. I got a little bit of a sneak preview, but you never really know until you get in there. We're getting in there, and
Getting in there.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna figure this one out alongside the audience in real time.
Yeah. Point A market right in the middle of the map. Kind of has two walls with this weird mini wall in the middle. You got point B, garden, gorgeous. Lots of hallways.
It's our third garden, by the way.
Palace.
Lijiang Garden, Oasis Garden,
A lot of gardens,
Survasa
yeah.
Garden.
First time having a palace, though. That's pretty cool. That's point C. Point D is temple. And
Of
point
Anubis.
E is ruins. Ruins and temple
Ruins is the
are
one-
pretty
Ruins is the bad
enclosed, though. Oh, okay.
This one's Palace.
They're all pretty enclosed. Feeling like Numbani Sanctuary a little bit. at
I like
some points.
Market.
Even Palace
I
pretty
like
enclosed.
Garden. We're going to Market first, so we always start on A. This is what you got to know about this map or this game mode. We always start on A. A is the Market. You mentioned it. It's the two walls, the little load panel on the side. Pokefax got here really quick. I mean, they got the Lucio, and that's the thing. I would have expected both teams to run Lucio full time, but Panthera don't have the Lucio. They're playing the nerfed rig, and they're also playing the Ram as well. So they want to go through with a very brawl type look. Hidden's actually like, Jasmine's nearly dead. Oh my god, come on.
It's like he's sitting. He's running in. Finally brought the block out. Got topped up by Develop. Got 50% ult charge off of him alone.
T-posing?
T-posing on him. Yeah. Poker Face still capped right in front of him.
He actually is T-posing. That's wild. He's flexing.
You'd like maybe Becky to be on a trace or something that can help contest the point a bit better, because I don't think
Well-
Soldier wants to be that close.
No, they're trying to play a brawl comp, but they can't get to the point because they rotated so slowly because they got no Lucio. Why are they not playing Lucio? That is super weird to me. And you'll notice, by the way, we're going to go up to 40%. You only get like 2.5 fights on each point here. These points go by quick. At Poker Face, you're more than halfway there. They got the first ultimate coming online. Develops at least trying to match the Nano. That'll get Jasmine in.
Okay, we already have a nano. That's how much damage Panthera has taken. Is given to Becky. And the damage at range, the right click on the hidden 5v3, and Poker Face finished off, but at 80% plus. That's quite a deficit that Panthera have to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, you can use this Panthera and it can now be in a defensive position where they can start building this up nice and slow, well, quickly actually, because again, the point capture is extremely quick, yeah. But this is the good part for Brawl. Now that they're playing the Brawl, they can just sort of chill on point, have their pokers flank out a little bit on the side of the streets, see what angles that Pokerface want to come through on. Super easy for Pokerface to rotate in. Might look for a tempo, but it depends on how close they think some of the ultimates for Panthera are. Specifically the Annihilation, that's probably one that you actually want to counter out.
This is first to 3 points on Flashpoint. Panthera want to defend this with everything, and Jasmine says, come at me, bro, I got Annihilation. But Slay develop? Am I getting flanked on, and Aiden is enabling those rotations.
Hidden on flank.
Pokerface maybe don't want to jump in those loving arms of Jasmine. Hidden with the overclock up and above. Loses that to Becky, of all things. Now Valentine has a blade. Countered maybe by the Becky tax visor. Valentine, I mean, the damage is done. Does he have to deflect? He might die to this Annihilation. Pantheric will be getting to 99, but it's flipped in front of them. Overtime will begin soon. Pokerface haven't completed the flip. They have to remove Jasmine by force. Kitsune Rush invested there by Simple. They want to finish this once and for all.
Counter caps, no tank now. Looking like Pokerface will get this first point. And Panthera have not been able to hold on. Jasmine stayed alive for so long. Becky was in there as well. He had a lot of damage. Becky out-dealing Hidden, despite Hidden popping the overclock was huge. It was looking like Panthera were going to clean that one up, but not the case. As we start to move away, we're going bottom left. That looks like Palace. And here's one thing you got to talk about here, but the team that actually caps point A, they get a huge advantage for the next point, wherever that goes. Here we're going to see, because they stayed alive and they get the immediate first rotation, whereas Panthera, because they lost, they have to respawn. And because Panthera, okay, well, they got Hidden down, which is huge, but I was going to say, if it was a 5v5, they're playing Brawl, which is going to be slow to get back to the point anyway.
Oh, and Pokerface are in this enclosed area. I'd wonder if that Molten Core would come out to lock down that area. Panthera, Nano Becky, he saw just how much power he's able to bring out before with that, and even winning the 1v1 against the Hidden when he had overclock. So I like that Becky has stepped up when Panthera needed him the most. That will give Panthera the cap. Pokerface aren't fully wiped. They're just waiting for their moment to die.
You can try and play the range game here. They got the nice high ground. That's where you want Becky, and what we do as well where Molten Core, I don't think it's going to catch a lot here. This point is super open, and unless you're catching players in some sort of a choke point, Molten Core doesn't have a huge amount of value. With Becky down now, big advantage for Pokerface and Hidden. Pop it off again on the Sojourn.
Now, Panthera don't have a comp that they just want to engage into, right? Without that Lucio, they kind of just tried to bunker down, and Pokerface found the poke around Hidden. Then as soon as people are low, Valentine dashed in. The Molten Core came out from Dew to slow that down a little bit, but eventually the egg was cracked and Pokerface are back in.
I would have preferred if Panthera just pressured the point there. They obviously didn't have the cap, and then if no, they did have a cap, and then Dew just kind of play the Molten Core on this high ground that Pokerface was chilling on.
Like earlier,
or just be like very patient about it. You have point. Pokerface have to make the move. I just didn't agree with the usage of the Molten Core there. Panthera re-pushing now. Some decent ultimates in tow. Pokerface can answer. They have 4 themselves. 4 versus 4 ultimate wise.
Yeah, the high ground control for Pokerface, I believe. Becky has Visor close to the Nano 2 if you want to combine the two. Maybe not needing it. Becky wishes he had it, but is healed back up by his supports against the Kitsune Rush. Pokerface not investing ults until it feels like it's too late. Muse is down. How do Pokerface turn this around? It's the blade while the backline is low. And man, he gets stopped quickly in his tracks. It's all out chaos with Panthera robbing the point, but this will be quickly taken back by Pokerface at 99. It'll be Pokerface going to match point. I don't know what you call flashpoint point.
Yeah, it would be map point.
Map point?
It'd be map
yeah,
point.
Okay, I like that.
There we go. Hey, we're the first ones casters. I'm saying whatever I want. I'm making it up as I go. And you want everyone else is just gonna follow suit. They're gonna be watching this like, damn, well, Avril said map point. That's what we gotta go with now for the rest of the time. I said it first. So here we go. Jasmine now coming through on one of his clashes. This is signature pick for Jasmine on the Junker Queen. We've been going though. I need that top down because this is looking like Temple. Yeah, this one's Temple. So we've gone all the way to the top right. We've basically gone coast to coast here from bottom left to top right. Very open point. 4 entrances here. Some of the windows up top as well.
Maybe this Junker Queen is an answer to this Winston. You have a bit more speed if you do want to be more aggressive with your engages, but the Winston's just going to jump past that, try and split up the heals. Now the Primal to boop everyone out of the point. Guarantee that capture for Poker Face. Now they can take the engage. Muse goes in deep, trying to not fall off the map. I believe there's some hits to fall into.
Oh, there is.
Panthera. Yeah, Panthera have to be aware of that too, because there's a Lucio of Aiden that can poop them down. Valentine, Kitsune rush, charges forwards. Becky pulls them from behind as Poker Face step forward. Panthera investing the ults too. They nano Jasmine. And man, the rush ends up paying off for Panthera.
Yeah, they'll get it done eventually. They had the early rally anyway, but you know, with the rest of the ultimates coming on through, there's some fast charging ultimates here as well. Jasmine with the very recent swap over towards the Jungle Queen immediately finds Rampage in the middle of that fight, and Develop going over towards the Kariko as well. Much better, I think, to actually keep Jasmine up. See if Panthera can finally get themselves a point on this map. Otherwise, we're going to get not just a 3-0 on this particular map, we're going to get a 3-0 in the series as well.
And Poker Face don't have simple, so might have to invest the bead if you think this is turnable soon. Looks like Panthera aren't really pressing the advantage they could have while Simple is gone. Even the Molten Core, how is Duke going to use this time on the defense? He wanted it a bit more preemptive earlier. Lock down one of the 4 entries, or multiple entries, inside here of Temple.
This one's going to be very defensive, I think. Now wouldn't be too bad, because this is where Poker Face is trying to get themselves a point. You got to shut down Hidden. Hidden is the main threat.
Oh yeah, when you get a headshot on Becky, and he goes forward, doesn't even care about the Molten Core, but the Suzu saves Du's life, allows him to give up that space a little bit. Poker Face have such a deficit they have to overcome, but when they play this good, I'm not worried.
93 for Panthera, but they have to be on the repush, and they just have very little to use. Poker Face, Valentine can clean this one up. I mean, one good Death Blossom, the map is over. There's going to be only one fight left. 70% plus, you can see that thing just ticking up so damn quick, and 2 more big ultimates coming line for Poker Face. Huge survivability for Muse as Jasmine's down to his 3rd hero of the Diva as well. Valentine, that is the key player here to send it home for Poker Face.
Deep dive from Muse, close to the Primal 2, Simple TPs with them. Panthera trying to matrix what they can. Valentine TPs in, looking for the Death Blossom. Panthera smell it in the air, but a back cap happens because of Du, and he's isolated, able to defend himself well. Not someone you want to push with how heavy that shotgun can be. 99 to 99, will it be Poker Face with the sweep? Panthera want to live on through to the next point. Du might get primaled off the map. He's somehow living. That Blossom gets mostly Matrix. And that shot by Develop. A heads up play by Panthera. They will overcome this fight and will be winning Temple to continue on Flashpoint.
Yeah, huge clutch there. I mean, that was Suzu and the Matrix put all over Valentine. They knew that the Diva swap essentially is to counter the Death Blossom. That was a huge tool for Poker Face to clean up the 3rd point. So we only got Garden left with Ruins, and with any luck, we won't go to Ruins at all. Unless this one's... Ruins... Are we at Ruins right now? Oh, we are at Ruins right now.
Yeah.
So unlucky. Sag. I hope. I hope.
There's just a lot to deal with. You got a Torb, you don't want to die, but Diva, that's micro missiles hurt a lot, and look how much Muse just got blown up. Maybe should have waited for the Aiden sound barrier. Either way, maybe next time. Panthera will get the cap now. They have ults to defend this too.
That's crazy because they didn't spend anything to get the cap, just a free kill to Muse. That's really going to put Panthera ahead. We could be going to all 5 here, which would be a nice way to start our first ever Flashpoint. You know, get a full tour of all 5 points. It was looking very 3-0-able for Poker Face. They needed to get that Death Blossom while the Kariko's Tuna Rush was running through. Speaking of which, so we'll have it up very soon. Double support ultimates hit him back on the overclock. And he's dead. Oh god, Jasmine just runs in.
Jasmine runs in, forces out the Kitsune Rush, but Jasmine lives on, has the self-destruct too, and this Molten Core all over this Kitsune Rush is at least occupying that real estate for Panthera. They can just be having these small dives here with Jasmine, force Poker Face away time and time again. Panthera, if they can win this next fight, they'll go to the map point 5. We're making it up as we go.
They'll get to, yeah, they'll get to the 2 out of 2 there. Final point, and here we go. All of was expended by Poker Face. It's up to Hidden to get this done, but he just gets hard focus. Everybody looking at Hidden, and Panthera are going to take us all the way. We're going to go all 5 points. Poker Face That one big shot there, keep hitting it live, get him popping off on the overclock, but both of the big DPS tools from Pokerface, whether we're talking about Death Blossom, talking about overclock, Panthera have had the answer. And the more I look at this Jasmine Diva, the more I'm thinking, damn, this has been the answer. But it came in super late, but now that we've started to play this Diva, it's been looking so much better for Panthera.
Swap after swap, Jasmine has figured out the kryptonite to this dive comp and hidden swaps back to the soldier, quicker rotations. It's been what's necessary. Well, Panthera had to invest a lot, like 2 or 3 ults in that last fight, so maybe Pokerface may have an advantage in the breakout of this final point. To see if Panthera can live on in the series. Jasmine has that kind of pseudo second life with the self-destruct too, which can clear the point once established. Pokerface are the first ones in position. Jasmine will contest. Needs all the support they can get. Just boing Muse. Where's the primal? I was expecting that too. Maybe just dependent on a Suzu or heals from Simple, but that's a flood from Pokerface when they should have maybe capped first.
At least Becky expended the pulse bomb, but man, Panthera again, they kind of just get away with murder. They get essentially a free cap. That kind of happened on Ruins as well. We saw Panthera just win, how many? 2 fights? No ultimates spent outside of a pulse bomb being lobbed in. Pokerface just can't quite get themselves. That should have been a primal. You're right, probably waiting for the Suzu, but bad comms could have been the detriment of Muse. Late time.
Oh, Slay bashes away in time. That should have been a kill. So little value from Genji Blades all around. Maybe forcing cooldowns if you squint. That could be a silver lining. But Panthera reaching 60% plus, investing the ultimates. Kitsune rush from both sides. It's 5v4 for Panthera. Fuse, there's the primal we were hoping for. Just to beat Jasmine to death, force the bomb out. But Jasmine just goes back to the point to force back the recontest of Pokerface. And the cap still goes through.
Aiden still has sound barrier here as well, so Pokerface can keep this one going. Not much left to play through. It's going to be the tempo there just to counter out the effects of the rally, due to try and play with the Molten Core that'll have some level area control, but again, not really ideal. It's Becky's Pulse one that actually gets the 5 versus 4. Now Muse and Aiden both low, both down. Pokerface lose a point. Can they contest in time? Panthera cap, and it's about to be over. I think it's done. I think it's done.
A reverse sweep on Flashpoint? Panthera did reverse sweep last time, but this is like a little baby reverse sweep, or maybe the beginning of a bigger one. Panthera turn it all around on Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's the reverse sweep within the potential of a bigger reverse sweep here, because we keep talking about the fact that Pokerface got reverse swept by Panthera last time, and starts by winning that map 3 for the opposing team, which is Panthera. And I'll say it again, I think that 3rd point, Temple, was looking really winnable for Pokerface, and they'll be upset that they didn't get the clean sweep on Ravasa, our first ever look at Flashpoint. But 2 more maps to play through here. We'll see where we go to for push after this break.
Starts with a small reverse sweep on Flashpoint to maybe create an even bigger one, because that's what happened last time for Panthera. I'm going to keep mentioning it because it's good for the narratives, Admiral.
Alright, at this point, game's open again. Going to push. Got a Runaway fan that's also a Panthera fan. Got one of the best 3 combinations numbers in there. Kilometers. You use kilometers in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go freedom units.
Good.
What do you use?
Let me put it this way. There's only 2 countries in the world that uses Imperial. One of them is the United States. And another one is... I can't even remember the other one. And I don't know why they use Imperial. They do. And
They're
it's
irrelevant,
probably
I
not a
guess.
country you've really heard of.
Okay, fair enough. Jasmine stays in the lineup too, after just how many swaps they had to go through. They really got something good cooked up for our push map coming up, which will be chosen by Pokerface.
Peppy back in. And XU back in. I think I'm going to be seeing more of what we got in Numbani. It's more Numbani comps. Which should say that the likelihood of Alari is, I'd say, basically 100% here. Double flex support. All the teams that were banking on the possibility of double flex support meta, they're fist pumping right now. They're loving it. So, at least on some maps. I don't know how prevalent this comp is going to be overall. It seems like at least on maps where you have to make big rotations and lots of big angles like control, maybe flashpoint as well. Double flex support doesn't make sense. But on New Queen Street, especially on New Queen Street, very flat map. I think like a poke comp is probably going to be decent here. I think both teams will play some variation of poke.
And just being able to control that kind of top metro, top hallway, whatever you want to call it, has been prevalent in multiple metas now. Sojourn still kicking around. Doesn't feel like a Sojourn jail with just really how many different hit scan you can see. We've seen Soldier, Tracer, Sojourn, I already said that, Reaper, others. Everyone's still kind of experimenting, but I know you and I were trying to place bets. We weren't full arguing this time, chat. You don't have to mute us. But it was between Orisa and Sigma. What is Peppy gonna play?
I do like in the arguing though. It's one of my favorite activities.
I know you do.
So.
Admiral is Team Orisa. I'm thinking Sigma just because of, bringing that out on Numbani, even though Peppy did bring it out on Orisa for point C. See what he opts for.
I think as long as... Well, he's not going to end up playing the dive because Jasmine's not going to play a dive, so... Sigma is probably okay. I think Peppy is preferring the Sigma given his, I think, history as a player. I've cast. Fun fact: he played in Contenders Australia before. He played a ton of Sigma there. So
you should have been right about this.
yeah, but Orisa's meta.
Okay, true.
Because
facts.
I slaved to meta, I'm just gonna say Orisa every time. But we're gonna play the Sigma here. We're gonna play Soldier versus Soldier. I think the Soldier's probably better for the shield break, so this is a better pick for Becky. We also saw, by the way, the Hidden versus Becky 1v1 on Sarasa on Market, where that one shot from the Helix, which does a ton of damage now as a burst, as direct. I mean, if you're not hitting the... What is it? The rail, but you do get hit by the Helix, you're just... It's game over.
Yeah, screw the shield break for the Soldier. He can just... He's got those sneakers. Just run around it, Forehead. At least he can just take any position he wants with how fast he really is. Jasmine, though, loses the Sigma duel. And that's Pokerface that can start taking space. And especially forcing Panthera off that high ground. And even Slay's getting tossed up by Peppy's Sigma. Hidden takes that tower position right in the middle of the map. And it's a good initial push for Pokerface.
All right. Actually getting a decent amount of healing and damage done there as well. Starting things out. Surprised that Jasmine went down. Yeah, Becky did end up going for the flank, but I think if you just play the full front to back, you definitely out-damaged the Soldier in terms of shield break potential. It's Pokerbase hard stacking the mid, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, while Peppy is obviously pushing the payload.
There's an Ant Matrix already from Maxi. This just allows Pokerface to dominate this lane, and Slay can't get away. Decided to not opt to hide with Jasmine and maybe go for an Ant Matrix counterplay, and Captive Sun just proc on 2. The immortality maybe comes out either way.
That's the first
What
kill
a
on the
run.
Captain Sun.
Yay.
4 maps in, we finally got one. We've got 1 kill on the Captain Sun. So this happened. That's history made in the Overwatch League. But the cap looks like it's about to come on through. I actually thought XE might have altered early there, but with the extra momentum that Pokerface has built through, there it is. Cap secured. And Thera nowhere to be found. Full respawns.
Pokerface have not been stopped yet, too. They got their own captive sun. They got a ton of ults coming up. Panthera maybe need to act early and act quick. Get a first pick, whatever it takes. This is getting out of hand. That's a very far forward Ant Matrix. Just trying to get as much coverage as possible. Pokerface hide in the mega room. Let's see if they can sneak around. Bait Panthera to go in
Oh,
further
there it is. I was
forward.
waiting for
And
it. The first Eden Captain Sun. We got the first kill on Captain Sun. We got the first Eden Captain Sun. Done. Tick it off. Mark it down.
Gobbled up. The highs and the lows of this match has presented. Peppy wins the Sigma duel again. Pokerface. Will they ever be slowed down? Hidden gets the immortality field just to live on through this overclock. This push continues to 85 plus.
Still getting a lot. Pokerface is still getting a lot done. We're heading into triple digits now. Panthera are struggling big time here. Molten Core no doubt being used. Dude is behind enemy lines, by the way. Man is on a big boy flank. As we start getting to the end, XE can drop down a decent angle for the window. It'll be hard to contest unless Hidden goes down. Jasmine also has the Flux, which should be very useful to counter out the window. Flux is going to come through early, actually.
Pokerface turned around to deal with that flanker of Dew. There's a gravitic flux from the front. Pain sandwich all around, but what's really painful is 109-meter push right off the rip. There's still 6 minutes left, but
you know what?
Panthera looked dead there.
If Pokerface get reverse swept from here, they lose this map and they lose the next one, they'll deserve it because 109-0 should be a lead that is uncontestable. Like, this lead should be more than enough to win you the map now. If Pokerface can just chill for the next 6 minutes and win this one out, Jasmine will be chilling in spawn.
Jasmine has lost the Sigma duel, and not just in this isolated one-on-one, just the way that all of Pokerface convert their attention towards that tank, because once that central pillar of Panthera is gone, Becky and Dew have a hard time defending, or at least firing back and finding the equalizer. It's Pokerface to deal with, or sorry, Panthera have to deal with this flank from a Torbjorn of Valentine, who has the speed to get back into position, back to the road where Peppy is. Got captive suns available, mega pack room control for Panthera. Now it's Panthera with some bot control, that's it.
Pokerface can just play this one slowly, kick the ball around, waste some time here. Panthera have to do the most. Both Captain Sun's gonna come through, 10 time, no idea how many they hit. Looks like Develop completely whipped it. He might have gone for an aerial shot in simple, not too sure, but feels like neither will get too much done here. It'll just be all the breakables or the deployables gone with the lamps and the pylons. Finally a good shot.
Yeah, and Valentine's just jumping out of there. Maybe you should have just tried to defend a bit better, but wanted to get closer range with a shotgun kill, maybe. The developers is simple 1v1 though. I want to see more of that. That was a weird ghost of, of simple there, either way.
It's just
I want to see that show match.
strangely hard ultimate to get value out of when everyone can just move away for the shield. That was a decent shot, but getting low HP. Also have the fact that Sigmas can just eat away the ultimate as well. Played against Dive, everyone just sort of jumps away. At least Panthera getting some movement now. First major movement, 6 minutes deep into the game. We're getting some real movement now, 25 meters, and getting to go for the first camp. They got some ultimates coming online as well that will be able to maybe secure them this point, but Pokerface are also in a decent defendable position with their own 4 ults.
I don't know whose Gravflux comes out first. The accretion just came out from Peppy, so he goes, pulls the trigger, catches 2 in that immortality summoned by Slay. The fire back from Becky, tactical visor, gravitic flux from Jasmine, I think whiffs or maybe got Peppy low a bit. Immortality from XE to save him as XE waits for his moment for the Ant Matrix while Panthera caught in the open. This could be what stops Panthera, but Captive Sun first from Develop to get these players low will claim the life of Valentine and Hidden. And you won't even need the Ant Matrix. Panthera will keep on pushing.
Possible clutch, 3v3. It's not quite over just yet. Peppy stays alive here, and he's being hard pocketed, but it's Develop on the off angle that gets the headshot. Now we'll see if there's going to be enough healing left. Might just be a little bit of healing still remaining. It's XE trying to get Pepe alive as much as possible. The respawn and Poker Face, I feel like they've survived this one, and Panthera haven't actually capped.
Yeah, not having those forward spawns made a huge difference, and even with Slay investing the Ant Matrix, gave them limited options if that push were to keep going. So Panthera just take a step back so they can collect their army, have everyone up, and see if they can draw Poker Face out into the open to step down those steps to get range of the line of fire to do. And Panthera, see if they can get the spot going again. Molten Core available.
Pepe was low. If they got Pepe down, that's a cap. Unfortunately, Develop gets simple, but just Exy there still ended up being enough healing for Pepe to stay alive, and time is starting to be unfavorable now for Panthera as they saw full double the cap remaining left. That's one target being caught by the Captain Sun, but not enough damage to get the kill.
Oh, Poker Face trying to hold on to this high ground as best as they can. Becky harasses, throws the pulse. Immortality from Exy out just in case that were to stick. Now Valentine barely able to hold that position to help Exy drive through the Ant Matrix. Captain Sun from Develop from above takes care of that tank. Pepe down for the count, so is Valentine. Poker Face get wiped, and Panthera quite a lot of meters to make up for, and only 2 minutes to do so.
Should be at the cap though. Here we go. Plenty of players alive. This is what they need. This is a lot of momentum. I think this has to be the push. If there's any possibility of Panthera turning this one around, if it doesn't happen now, map's over. Poker Face take the series. Slay with the early window. Looks like he used it on the side angle there towards the right. Very aggressive if that's the case, because you need to be slow burning these ultimates to actually get this cap, because 109 meters, I mean, you have to push all the way uphill here. Poker Face have respawn advantage. Time's about to run out. So, as I mentioned, one and done here for Panthera or not at all.
Yeah, Develop and Becky push that off angle to take care of that turret. Molten Core used early from Valentine just to hold on and push Panthera off the bar. Panthera need a flawless fight, a flawless push to match that 109. And Jasmine dominates the front line. Even with Pepe surrounded by Molten Core, he's simply getting beaten to death. And Panthera keep this going.
Yeah, flawless. That's what you need. 5 alive for Panthera. Still a couple of good ultimates. Support ultimates here as well. Building up nice and quickly, and we're definitely heading to the OT here. So no matter what, this one's going all the way in terms of closest. I was thinking that Poker Face had a 109 lead that was going to be enough for them just clean up the map, but Panthera have brought this one extremely on purpose, because you know what? Poker Face, they probably could have won it on Servasa, but here we go. Develop's dead though, 5v4.
Ooh, Grab Flicks right to the Captain Sun. That's a deadly combo, and Valentine dashes through, getting resets. Poker Face stop them right at the finish line, 109 to 99, and the bot's getting stolen away. Panthera have to race back, and it's not looking good when you're getting staggered too.
You leave the bot because Panthera can't touch.
Yeah.
You gotta C9 it. Full C9.
Oh, Slay, yeah, couldn't get the rollout in time, and Poker Face deny the game 5 and get the 3-1 victory over Panthera.
There it is. Muse, well, he got his 100. And then Pepe took over for the rest of the maps. Unfortunately, Servasa couldn't go the way of Poker Face, but will prevent the reverse sweep. Things got a little dicey on Queenshu. That was potentially a losing map for Poker Face, despite being so far ahead by 4 minutes deep, 109 to 0, and Panthera still pushed it to 99. That is a really good comeback from Panthera, but required Panthera to be flawless, and it's just too much to ask, unfortunately, for a team that far behind with no time remaining. So Poker Face will still be able to clutch on through right at the end there. And a nice win for Poker Face in the first game on knockouts here in the East. Hidden, our player of the match. I think this one was secured nice and early, but we saw just how damn good Hidden was already in the first 2 maps before we saw even anything else.
Yeah, it was unanimous when it came to the votes from the broadcast side. Hidden just right out the gate, swinging for the fences. The Sojourn, impeccable. Just put fear into the eyes of the opponent, just not wanting Becky, or forcing Becky to hesitate bringing out the Echo that he's usually known for. And yeah, dominated on the Sojourn, but that wasn't his only pick. Then had the Ashe on Numbani. Was it maybe the Soldier?
A little bit of Soldier as well. Yeah, played a little bit of Soldier there as well. So brought out all the hit scan classics. Played like 1 life of cast, I think. Something like that. Which actually ended up being okay, but I mean, I remember the first moment here was this a 4K, I believe? Something really impressive. I think the case from Hidden. And this is what got Pokerface nice into the lead in the series.
Synergized as well with the Winston, the way that Hidden would jump in, have trust in his team, jump right into the bubble too. So
Clean.
it just looked like a coordinated game plan, at least on Control. Then you had the Ashe, where I didn't get to see Bob do too much action there, but it was Hidden. The Dynamite's landing perfectly on the supports. Good usage of XC's Ant Matrix, who I think was the MVP in that final play in the second round of attack that allowed them to get the win there. But Hidden, no matter what hero he was on, mechanically outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, this moment as well. The rails are landing. Things are going good for Pokerface. Eventually, though, saw Panthera kind of come back when the Diva swap happened for Jasmine. That was one of the key things that shut Hidden down. The Hidden was on a tear prior to that. When Jasmine's playing Ram, he's playing Jungle Queen and sitting, nothing stopping these rails. Nothing was stopping Hidden.
Being able to get multi kills on an overclock is not an easy thing to do, and put Becky in his place here on the soldiers. I think Becky got one leg up on him that one time. But this was a fun flashpoint. Ended up being our first time casting it. It was the first time seeing a reverse sweep on it.
It was the first of anything. Anything that happened when we were casting it would have been the first. Objectively so.
Well, Hidden was your player of the match. We're going to head over to the stage to hear from an interview.
안녕하세요. 발렌타인 선수 반갑습니다.
Hello, Valentine.
네, 너가웃 첫 경기를 승리로 장식하셨습니다. 출발이 아주 좋은데요. 승리 소감 어떠신가요?
First win in the knockouts. How do you feel?
저희가 저번 대회 때부터 좀 연패를 하고 있었는데 드디어 이겨서 기분이 매우 좋습니다.
So we've been kind of like a losing streak in the past few weeks. It's good to have a start with a winning start.
기대해 주신 이유들 중 하나가 신영웅 일리아리가 아닐까 싶은데요. 포커페이스에서도 많은 연구가 있었을 것 같습니다. 오늘
A lot of focus was on Illari play today. We can see that you put in a lot of effort and research. Was Illari kind of a success today?
되게 좋다고 생각해서 저희 팀도 기용을 하고 있는데 이긴 것과 다르게 조금 결과는 과정에서는
So, as a team, we think that Illari is a good pick. The results were very good with Illari, but I think as the process itself, we do have a lot to improve on with the Illari pick.
새로운 전장 수라바사가 3세트 때 드디어 나왔습니다. 상대팀 판테라가 골랐고 상대팀 디바로 인해서 조금 고전하는 모습을 보인 포커페이스인데 그때 아쉽게 한 세트를 내주고 나서 팀원끼리 어떤 소통이 오갔는지 궁금합니다.
So you dropped Soravasa today, which featured for the first time in the Overwatch League, and your opponent's Panthera put out the Diva. What were the comms around the map?
저희가 자신 있는 맵이라서 그냥 할 것만 하자 하고 저희들끼리 파이팅했던 것 같아요.
자신 있는 맵이 나왔으니까 할 거 하자라고.
So, I mean, Soravasa is a map that we were kind of confident in, so the comms were generally like, hey, we're confident in this map, we'll just do it, but the results didn't go our way.
네, 저희 되게 성적 되게 안 좋았었는데
Any final messages to the fans?
그래서 되게 다행이라고 생각하고 있고 다음 경기도
So, I mean, I know that fans would have been probably worried a bit because we weren't doing so well in previous tournaments. However, we did start with a good start, so please keep an eye on us. And that's the end of the interview. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Unknown, for the translations. Interview from Valentine. Insightful, Admiral.
And Pokerface will be our first winner here. We'll move forward to, I think they play the Dallas Fuel next. We'll find out, but we have another match coming up. Rose Dreamers don't go anywhere.